News.
Survivor News. Survivor News. Survivor News.
Survivor News. Survivor News.
Survivor News. Survivor News. Survivor News. Survivor News. Survivor News.
And we are back with your Survivor News, covering Survivor Season 48, Episode 8. Ooh, that has kind of sort of a ring to it. Let's welcome back to the podcast, the first merge boot of Winners at War. He might own a hotel in Philadelphia called The Gas Lamp, and you should check it out, thegaslamp.com. Let's welcome back to the podcast, Win DZ.
What's up, Perp? It's good to be back.
Good to be back. Good to hear you using your voice.
I'm awake, Brice.
Oh, are we? But I can also see your knee, so that probably means you have your socks off and you're getting ready to clip some toenails.
I got my slippers on.
Okay, well, listen, enough about you, the man, the myth, the star of Survivor News. Let's welcome back the featured film that will be on YouTube, available maybe this week, Lil Brick, but aka Jackery. Atkins. Jack was popping in.
Yeah, I had to throw it on. I think I might have grown a few sizes since you sent it to me, but
he's a growing boy. Welcome back, Jack.
Just threw on the Purple Pants Podcast sweatshirt. Get yours everywhere. Everywhere
Yeah,
listen,
they still are available. What's going on, Jack? We got a lot to unpack, and listen, I'm gonna just let the posse know now. I'll pin when we start talking about the episode, but I mean, I don't know what's there to talk about, but
there is stuff to talk about the episode. I'm gonna say that right now.
Okay. Well, listen,
when DZ carry this one, because
I know, Jack, that's all you. When DZ and I just got back from the Ron Clark Academy in Atlanta, shout out to the baby boy Ron Clark. This is our first time there, and Jack, when I say Ron Clark know how to throw a party, okay, and I'll say this now. Hey, Ron, if you're listening, Brice and Ron Present has a ring to it. Okay.
Call that
BRP.
Fire me on air.
Oh, damn. Sorry. Jack, when I tell you, I mean, first of all, the Ron Clark Academy itself is just an awesome place. It's like hard work.
Excuse me.
It's like, wait, was that your attempt to say? Wait, try it again.
Okay. The Ron Clark Academy is like walking into Hogwarts. No, okay. Hogwarts. Hogwarts. No. I'm close though, right?
You gotta let him sit with this, Jack. You gotta let him sit with this.
Hogwarts.
Closer.
You're getting there.
Hogwarts.
It's just two regular words put together.
Yes.
The first one is one of your favorite things.
Okay. Hardwards.
And the second one is Kyle.
You got the second part down pretty good.
Hardwards.
That's getting worse again.
Now he's just butchering it.
What is it, Jack?
It's Hogwarts.
Hogwarts. Okay.
No, just hog?
Hogwarts. Hogwarts.
No, you're glitching out.
Hog.
Warts.
Hogwarts.
Oh my gosh. Stop putting that R in the first syllable.
Hogwarts.
Stop putting the R in the first syllable.
Hogwarts.
Better.
Say again.
Okay.
Say again.
Being at the Ron Clark Academy is like being at Hogwarts.
Okay, that was all right. That was the best one yet.
I mean, it's like
just don't ask about the houses at Hogwarts.
But every room, a time was had Jack, a time was
It
had.
looked electric. I mean, and Ron invited me, which I was really flattered by. But being the broke boy that I am and the busy boy that I am, I wasn't able to make it. But I'm like, Ron, please invite me to the next one. I'll be there. Brice, speaking of Hogwarts, you're wearing all green. Would you say, are you a Slytherin?
Well, listen.
Just don't let him get face to face with the bastards.
Because wait a second, Jack.
Oh no!
Listen, Jack, I got to do it.
Brice down there in the Chamber of Secrets.
I got to do it.
Oh,
Okay,
no.
because listen, Jack.
Oh no!
The britches got a stain in them this time because at Hogwarts, you'll never believe, Jack. Oh, you'll never, Jack. Hold on, wait here. I got to.
At every opportunity.
David was in the building at Hogwarts.
Did you try to steal his wand?
The hog might have had warts because, oh my God.
At every opportunity, Brice was yelling, "Take your shirt off, Jack." I mean, at that moment, I think Brice is the reason why. I think Brice started screaming, "Take it off." And that's why he took it off right there when Ron announced him to the crowd. After the show, David is standing up with a mic in hand amongst 800 people being interviewed by Ron Clark. And all you hear is Brice, "Take it off!" At every opportunity.
Who encouraged me, Wendell?
I have no idea.
Also, Jack, I owe you an apology. I feel like, we said before, Jack got a type. We know Jack's Survivor type, okay? Last season, it was Sam. And Jack, Sam has a new name, okay? Sam's name is not Sam anymore. It's just Sam. Because, okay, just Sam is my favorite person in the whole entire world. Sam he's a character, Jack. Jack, you know how you and I cut up? I mean, I think me and just Sam cut up even more. So, Sam, even more, Jack.
Where do you think he learned it from, Brice?
Oh,
no,
listen. I support the Jack type because the episode started. Thomas and Sam are walking down to the auditorium. Also, Wendell and I had front row seats. Jack, I get into the auditorium and okay,
I love how you say auditorium, but you can't say Hogwarts.
Hogwarts. Listen, Jack, it's 800 people. I get into the auditorium. I walk into the auditorium, Jack. No lie. Who's at the front of the auditorium?
Looking for Brice.
Brice!
You remember the fiasco in season whatever it was, 45, when he got mad at us, Jack?
I don't remember that.
I wasn't gonna let this happen again.
Jack,
I saved seats.
Oh, it was you.
Oh.
Wait, who
was
Jack,
it?
You remember when he got mad at me because Bruce snuck by and took his seat.
I was mad at Jack too.
I will never let this happen again. I sneak into the auditorium hours in advance. I put my jacket down. I tell Tevin to hold some seats. When they start letting people
the students.
Yeah, really.
I'm boxing students out left and right. I'm like, Brice, I have a seat. You know what?
Brice, people are like, Brice, Wendell's looking for you. I'm like, oh my God, what's going on, Jack? I get up there. Wendell's like, what seat do you want? It's people like, can I sit here? And I'm like, I don't know what's going on. I'm like, I'll sit here. So Wendell had the whole front row curated. Okay, it gets dark.
See, but we know Brice loved that. So Wendell, don't let him.
I mean, I did appreciate it. I didn't let him know at the time, but I did appreciate it. Jack, Wendell had sunglasses, a book bag, chapstick, and hats on the seats. It was like, what's going on? But so where it's like, it's me, Say says hi, Jack. It's Tevin, it's Tiffany, it's Tsunami, it's Mama C. Thomas and Sam come down and it's dark. They get to the front and there's only a seat for Thomas. And Sam is like, what do I do? I move over on my seat. I say, just Sam, right here. Me and Sam shared the seat the whole night. And when I tell you, Sam and I, we had a time, Jack. Also, from last week's episode, you know, Shaheen with the oh yoki
Yeah,
yoki
I
yoki.
saw that little clip too.
Jack,
Oh,
I got
waka, simi no waka,
Hey.
himi no wa, kimi no hawa.
Hey.
Let's go.
Oh. It's a lot going on. But Jack, there's something more important that I want to tell you.
Okay.
No, pause.
Whoa, there's what's
Well, we
one of the hardest people.
Pause. I said
Okay.
pause. I have evidence of this Sam Brice fiasco. I look to my right and I see
Is that a headlock?
Brice did not let Sam go.
Nah, listen.
Sam is, I said, Sam, blink twice. Sam was trying to get out of this headlock. Brice was not allowing it. Look at that thing.
Mind you, at one point in time, Ron got on the stage and was like, there are plenty of seats. And mind you, Sam was like, I'll go. I said, you're staying here. You ain't going nowhere.
You really had a
Me
vice hold on him.
Yeah.
It was not consensual, bro.
Yeah.
Me and Sam had a time, but also Jack, one of the hardest people to shop for, who would you say it is, Jack?
To shop for?
Shop for, like Christmas, birthdays, Hanukkah, Passover.
Me?
No, Jack, you're easy. Jack, a Trader Joe's gift card or a pair of socks.
Oh, I think you meant shop like clothing. Shop for clothing.
Yes,
Oh.
or just a gift.
Yeah, to get a gift for your parents. Who?
Wendell. Wendeezy Holland is the absolute worst person to shop for, buy gift fors. You want to know why? Because he has everything. And you also want to know why, Jack? You'll get him something, he'll act like he likes it, and then 4 months later, in your birthday bag, he will re-gift you the item that he does not like in your birthday bag. And you're like, didn't I get this? However, being as though Wendeezy has been my best friend for almost 8 years, I know a thing or two about what Wendeezy likes. He's a plain, simple man. And Wendeezy likes what he likes. And so Wendeezy likes Nike. He likes Nike sweatsuits. Also, being as though Wendell is a plain, simple man, Wendeezy thinks if he likes what Wendeezy likes, also he'll gift to his friends. So I and Joey Hatch have enormous amounts of Lululemons, right? Also, Wendeezy is okay. Wendeezy is cheap and he is efficient. And so if he likes something, he'll just gift it to everybody. So when DZ likes a sweatsuit, Jack, got it to him for his birthday. He liked it so much. Or I got it to him for Christmas. Jack, he liked it so much. He gifted the same sweat. No, he texted me and said, where'd you get that sweatsuit from? I said, Nike. He said, let's get it for Joey for his birthday. So, Jack, Wendell and I get Joey the same exact sweatsuit in his birthday. It's a fresh sweatsuit, Jack. It's fresh.
But he didn't re-gift the one you got him, right?
No, he just got it in a different color.
That's respectable.
Okay, no.
I thought you meant he took yours and then
No, he liked it because I know what he liked.
He liked it so much, he had to buy it twice.
Yeah, but when DZ has a big mouth, Jack. So when DZ was packing for Atlanta, when DZ in the group chat, I think I'm going to wear my Nike sweatsuit to Atlanta. Okay, I wrote, okay. Joey Hatch didn't comment. Jack, when we pulled up to okay,
or did he already have a? Did he already have the new sweatsuit?
So he had it. He had it already because his birthday was in March. We pull up to the Ron Clark event, Jack.
Yep.
Guess who's twinning?
Wendell and Hatch.
But guess whose sweatsuit looks better on them and in person?
Who, Hatch?
Hatch. Joey Hatch was looking like a snack in
Hey.
Atlanta, and when DZ was looking like a scrub.
Oh.
Now, mind you, the sweatsuits are fire.
Yeah,
Right.
what's the moral of the story? You're just like dishing on.
The moral
roast
of the story is
Mean.
Joey Hatch was looking like a snack.
There we go.
And when
Joey
DC
Snacks.
was Joey Snacks, and when DC was looking like a scrub. But mind you, his sweatsuit was fire. But
It's just like
Joey's
better on Hatch.
the color of Joey's and Joey's skin tone.
Oh, there were different colors, or it
They're
was-
different colors.
Okay.
Joey was looking fire, and as soon as I saw when DC was looking a little mad. I said, "Why you mad? Because Joey looked better tonight."
Good to know you guys really dressed up for the event with some Nike sweatsuits.
Well, no, wait. No, let's be clear, Jack. Okay, because the original sweatsuit was a gift. They're expensive. Okay,
Oh, I know they're nice.
okay. When DZ might be a lot of things, but he do like nice things. That sweatsuit that he had on was expensive, but Joey's looked even more expensive.
Speaking of different colors, I just noticed we're wearing the colors of the season right now. Brice has got the
Oh.
all green. Wendell's got the orange. I got the loggy purple. Wasn't playing, but I think it's fitting.
Okay, well, last story of the last story, because
Oh my
I'm loving the story. I'm loving the story.
Listen, Atlanta. Maybe we do need to do a Brice and win in Atlanta because Atlanta was a time. But my last thing, Quintavious was there. Hey y'all, can I tell you about Q, Jack?
Please.
Q is somebody special, right? Like Q likes to be in the mix, but Q don't like to be in the mix. And then when the mix is happening and Q don't have nothing to do,
He has to vote him out.
well, I mean,
No, I'm playing, but
Q has two phones, Jack. I literally caught Q because he was in the mix, but not in the mix. I literally caught him texting himself on his two phones. Like I literally walked up, I saw him send an emoji. I saw a thing. Like it was a time. We had after parties, the after parties of the after party. Jack, I mean, Atlanta was a time. Shout out to the Jack Shack that was in the building. Shout out to the Wendens. Shout out to the posses. It was a time in Atlanta.
wow. I wish I had been there, but I was saving up for the big event next week.
Oh, well, funny you should say that because Brice and Win 48, we had a 2-week hiatus, but the baby boys are returning. We will be in Austin next week. Tickets are they still available, Wendell? Because the last that I mean, I don't know if there are any left. Are any
There are
tickets available?
a few left, but if everyone could just direct your attention to Brice in the Philadelphia sign.
Okay.
You
I
look-
got on Sam's shirt.
You look sharp. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
That's my only comment.
Well, I did just take my wave cap off in that photo, but I have on Sam's shirt. So we'll be in Austin next week. After that, April 30th, we will be in Philadelphia, our hometown. And from Philadelphia, the baby boys are headed to the District of Columbia May 7th. From May 7th, we're headed to Boston May 14th. And from Boston, the grand finale in New York City, May 21st. Tickets are available. You can click the link in Jack's Instagram bio or Wendell's bio, or you can head to briceandwin.com, or you can head to Nike.com and bless Wendell with a Nike sweatsuit that is more fire than Joey's because Joey Hatch was on fire last night.
Jack, what were you smirking at down there?
I was just the picture of Brice in the horse costume. Always makes me laugh.
Well,
You
listen.
look like you do like it almost looks like a dinosaur with like the like with the heads. Yeah, the post. I love the posters, and I love that up there with the baby boys on the Austin poster. It means a lot. Shout out to Tricky for the poster.
Okay, well,
He was today.
shout out to me for putting that photo up there.
Oh yeah, true. It's a joint.
Shout out to me for saying Tricky. We gonna put Jack right there with us.
Now, who sent
appreciate
the
all
photo
you
to
guys.
Tricky though?
It's a team effort, and I appreciate
Okay.
all you guys.
Well, listen, we got to get into this episode, but who? Sometimes Jack isn't the only person on the podcast that's loud and wrong, because last week I was loud and I was like, what Chrissy did at that tribal, she was speaking up. I felt it. Well, I mean, I guess the rest of the tribe felt it too. I don't know.
Yeah.
He talked her behind right off the island.
In your defense, Brice, I don't remember you saying, overwhelmingly that it was a good move, but we can all agree with what Chrissy was saying.
Right.
It's just, should she have been saying it out loud is the question, and the answer is definitely no. Yeah, tough week and then she came and did it again, obviously, this episode, which is funny because at the start of the episode, she's like, I know I probably did a little too much and should have been saying that. I got to reel it back in, and then literally one day later, you're back in the same spot doing it again.
Crazy.
I don't know. Yeah, this I think I share the sentiment of a lot of Survivor fans. Post-merge has been a little rough so far, not gonna lie, but I'm still optimistic. But we've seen this these strong alliance stick together. A couple cracks starting to form, but I'm like, for literally until the challenge, I was like, Star has not been on my screen one time. Not a confessional, not whatever. I'm like, so where is Star? Like, she's not even. They were picking duos, and I think she was still figuring out the clue to her idol. Like, I don't know. Like, I need some more Star. Like, we get a little bit of Mitch, and I think his head's in the right place. But then it's like after the challenge, not to get ahead of ourselves. I'm like, where? What's Chrissy? Well, who's Chrissy gonna vote? Where's Mitch at? Where's Star at? We're kind of just seeing these big boys argue about things, and it's not as exciting anymore, I don't think.
It's interesting. It does raise interesting questions that I think like we should definitely talk about. But wherever you want to go, Jack, I'm
Well, I know Wendell said, up top, you got some thoughts on this episode, and so I'd like to hand it to you because this episode was a little more. I mean, there was a lot to unpack, but also a little not as exciting. So I want to kick it to you and just kind of see what caught your eye.
No, I just think that the unpacking is what I'd like to look at. Just like the dynamics of this strong group and how they talk to each other and how they're trying to put things on each other or tie people together, etc. Like, yeah, especially that conversation with Kyle and David. That was interesting. Seeing Kyle go back to Joe, get Joe to do a little bit of his bidding. I think there's a lot to unpack there.
Yeah, I mean, I think the story, I've seen a lot circling around David, a lot of negative, some positive too. I think that's the most interesting to unpack because, we see these new duos sort of form with David and Mary, but he's also got his eyes on a potential Camilla Shaheen, and they're trying to get Camilla out to hurt Shaheen, but in reality, that's going to hurt Kyle, so he fights back. And like, I feel like David, as they say, was I saw someone said David was clocking Kyle's teeth. Like he knew that was a problem. David had the right read on, if this is really the 5, we can cut Camilla. Like she is the biggest threat outside of that alliance. But I think the way that David went about it sometimes was not the best. I think there's some things to discuss there for sure.
Absolutely. Because I also feel like you said, David wasn't wrong. Like David clocked the T, period. Yeah. And it was interesting enough. I also want to just give Camilla and Kyle their flowers because their duo and again, it's very interesting because I feel like on this season we have a duo that is very present and visible, and then we have this other duo that isn't so present and visible. And I feel like as a fan, although I love Eva and God knows I love Joe, as a fan of watching this season, I don't want to say I'm waiting for the demise of that, but I'm waiting for people to attack it, right? Because it is so visible. And so with this Kyle and Camilla duo, I think it's so interesting because they have been on the low, that the read from David of it being Shaheen and Camilla was like crazy. And I think what sparked my anxiety, is my anxiety. Somebody's watching me. Oh, oh, oh. What I was nervous about was Kyle. I was like, is Kyle coming in too hot, right? Like I was nervous in regards to, because it's David, and David essentially is like, we have our 5. Anyone else that's not in our 5, they can go. And clearly Kyle is pushing back. Not only, I wouldn't even say Kyle's pushing it back. I would say that Kyle is a millennial. He's at a festival and they're getting ready to leave the festival. And as they're walking out to the festival, you hear, don't, girl, you look good. Won't you back that thing up? You a big fight. And anybody knows, once you hear that song, you're not backing it up. You throwing it back. Kyle was throwing it back.
Yeah.
Okay? Girl, you look good. Won't you a big fine. Won't you back that? Kyle was shaking ass.
Don't nobody sound like that, please. Whatever you do.
Kyle was shaking ass to keep Camilla there. And first of all, I loved it because protect our women of color, and to see a black man going to bat for a woman of color. I feel like so often on Survivor, we see our women of color just be discarded, and to have a black man stand up for a woman of color like Camilla, I loved it. But I also was like, oh my God, Kyle, you are essentially revealing in but so many ways. But again, and I've been critical on Kyle on this podcast. Like, I don't see it. What he doing? But the way Kyle was throwing ass this week, I was putting up ones because he did it in a very masterful way in the outcome, in my opinion, right? Because I feel like, right, as a viewer, I'm like, you're being too obvious, but him to rope in Joe, and then he said the right thing to Joe, because if Joe is a suburban dad that lives in a cul-de-sac and is cutting his grass, and he's like, trying to get the lawnmower to go, Kyle saying, Chrissy said your name, that lawnmower said, like, Kyle got that lawnmower to blow. And so now there is just so much confusion going on that it might be enough smoke screen for him and Camilla to slide by. That's just my hot take real quick. But I was worried for Kyle a little bit.
I don't think it's enough smoke. I am scared for Camilla, but I think that there might be a rift to have people looking elsewhere, but I'm still very scared for Camilla. Like next episode,
I'm not super scared for Camilla. I think the interesting thing to talk about with Kyle was, he was throwing it back aggressively, and obviously we know as a viewer, it's like we know how close he and Camilla are. The way he was fighting for her, David was right to be sus. Like, why are you fighting so hard for Camilla? And Kyle was like, well, no. I just think she'd be someone we can work with. Like, I don't even know her. Like, we can get rid of her if you want, but like, I think we should keep her. Like, I do think that really focusing on Joe, keeping it on Chrissy was a smart way to go about it because Joe wanted Chrissy out. He's going to bring in Eva, and David alone, I don't think is going to have quite enough to get the votes for Camilla. My kind of question with the Kyle thing is like, is it good for him to sit here and go back and forth and fight with David? Or is there another route he could have taken where we're done with you, David? Like, I'm going to go get Camilla. I'm going to go get Mitch. I'm going to go get Chrissy. I'm going to get Shaheen. There's 5 right there, and we're going to make a move. Or is it too early for that? And did he go the right way, just convincing it to stay on Chrissy, which obviously worked out for now?
See, the thing that would have worried me though, right, is why I respected this move, because the easier thing would be to eliminate the person that's saying your closest ally's name, right? And so I think that the one thing that I agreed with the most was that although Kyle was throwing it back for Camilla, him not wanting to switch it on David or tell a whole bunch of people that could get back to David, in my mind, still insinuates that like we're still locked in, like we still can work together. Like, I'm not out here saying your name, I'm not out here trying to. And I also feel like if he would have then switched it to David, I feel like that could have been a little more obvious that you really are working with Camilla.
It's a huge move, and it's a little early for that, I'd say. Yeah. Because of now you got to convince everyone to shift it. And then they're like, all right, he wants to protect her so much that he's going against this 5 alliance. What's going on with them?
Yeah. Yeah, I guess it's a good thing that Joe was on board, because Joe wasn't. Then it's a weird impasse where, like, is Kyle ever going to just accept Camilla goes? No, I don't think. But if Joe doesn't get on board, then what do you do? I mean,
can I ask y'all a question? This is something that was like racking my mind, right? Because first of all, y'all know how I love Papa Joe. I was a little shocked at how easy it was to convince Joe to get on board, right? Just because in my mind, Joe is like you on this podcast, Jack. Like, you know everything, right? No, like, I mean, I go to you. Like, we might have an alleged winner, but like, I feel like you know what's up. And I feel like Joe knows what's up. And then I was thinking on a plane ride home, is there a world where Joe got with this plan to, again, demonstrate, hey, Kyle, I'm working with you, and also to deflect from his alliance with Eva, like, because we know that has to be coming soon.
Yeah.
And it's like, if Joe gets on board with this, it kind of maybe saves 1 vote, 2 vote, possibly 3 votes from them kind of coming at him and Eva.
I think it's great for Joe. I think it makes more sense for Joe to take out Chrissy, because Chrissy is saying his name pretty aggressively. I think it makes sense. I mean, we hark back to, that last tribe swap when Joe kind of was working with Camilla and Kyle and Shaheen. So I think Joe's in a great position now where even if Joe probably wants unity for this strong alliance, the fact that maybe David and Kyle are at arms a little bit now too, I mean, everything's going to kind of flow through Joe. So I think it's great that Joe was able to get Chrissy, which he preferred, but luckily Kyle was the one that was really vouching it for sort of different motivations, but the outcome that was best for Joe.
Yeah. And you're right, Jack, with Joe, because even with the challenges, right? Like, I feel like, in my opinion, Joe said, I'm gonna sit back. When Jack said, pick you, not Jack.
Jack, you were out there?
Okay. Jack could be Jeff. When Jeff was out there and saying, hey, this is a challenge, you have to pick your partners. I really love the confessional from Joe saying, like, I'm gonna sit back and see what happens, but also how it worked out in his favor. And I thought that was very telling of how Joe, is strategically playing his game. But I also am like, is Joe against Mary? Because he was very excited when, was it David picked Mary?
And then he was like, okay, I see that. But it's like, Joe, you got the tightest alliance out there. They already know about you. Like,
but that's why he's so excited, because now he can, like, I mean, like, I like where his head is at.
Yeah. No, it makes sense.
You could try to tie all of these people together all that you want, bro. Y'all, you just damn near you ran over to her and you comforted her. Everyone, your alliance is the top alliance. So yeah, talk about these other pairings, but like y'all are the most out there.
Yeah. I think there's something to be said that their pairing's so obvious to everybody in the game that like people need to start looking at it sooner, like Chrissy said, but people kind of know. I feel like they're going to take that shot. They got to line it up soon. But when it's these other secret pairs that are forming, that's a little bit juicier. Like we got to nip that in the bud before that does become something because people don't know about it. So yeah, I like where Joe. I mean, Joe's got everything going on, the right way right now. It's just going to be like, is his duo so powerful that he? But I don't see Joe getting targeted anytime soon.
Is
Do you guys like
Can
the? Or go ahead, and then I'll swim.
so since we're talking about Joe, I want to test y'all temperature on Joe right now from what we've seen of this episode, right? I feel like episodes before we were like, there's no way Joe would ever turn on an Eva, right? They're locked in. Now, after this episode, and like I said last week's episode, yes, we love Eva's story. She's amazing, but I am curious to know, like, when is the flip? When is the switch going to switch for some people to like look at Miss Eva as she is in a good spot. She's physical, she's got alliances, and now after she goes to the sanctuary and gets this advantage, do you think with a Joe being as though, like, I mean, you look at Eva resume, like, aside from the emotional heart pulling that we know of her, Eva's in a good position. Do you think ever, maybe at this point, Joe would be like, maybe I do need to cut ties?
I think Joe would pull the trigger when he feels it necessary. Yes, I do. But I can't go so far as to say that like Eva's a threat to win the game. I think, and I like Eva, but I just think that like I just question if she'd get the votes. We've seen people that are strong looking players that amass some cool trinkets out there or some cool advantages, go to the end and essentially just be iced out.
But
like Xander almost, right? Like Xander, like this guy, he was trying his everything and he didn't catch steam. So in Eva's case, it's like, yeah, you got some cool things, and yes, you just did a great job in the challenge. But I'd almost question if someone else sits next to her.
I kind of agree. I don't think that Joe would cut Eva. I think maybe there's a world where Eva might cut a Joe.
Whoa.
In which case, I think that would be important to what she, her potentially winning the game. Because
that
right
could be
now,
a winning move for her. Now that
I agree.
Yeah. But right now, I kind of agree with Wendell. I don't think that she's seen as a huge target to win. And, maybe it's just because we haven't seen her side of things, but it's been her story sort of been she's paired up with Joe. She's been overcoming her autism, which is a great story at the end, which can give her a shot. But as far as like actual gameplay goes so far, it doesn't seem like she's been, and not to say that like that could come down to a classic sort of Survivor thing where maybe the guy in the duo is getting more undue credit, but at the same time with a jury where Eva has been a little bit pro man, maybe that jury, if the women on the jury might not be quick to give her that credit then, because whereas if I don't know if Eva would step up in that nature, and embrace like embracing the girl power. I mean, even like last week we saw Chrissy from the bench during the challenge be like, "You got this girl power, Eva," and Eva was just like just didn't care. So, but I do think Eva, depending on how she plays, I think Eva would have to take out a Joe to win, because right now I think Joe. The only way I do actually see a world where Eva could beat Joe, just because Joe would be like so proud of her and lifting her up so much that maybe Joe would almost be like, vote for Eva, which I don't know, but
nah, Joe ain't doing that.
Yeah,
so Joe got his family first.
I'd hope.
Yeah.
Speaking of the advantage, It was a little weird, right? The
I
seats,
know.
at
I know.
first I thought like,
About
oh,
that.
but
Oh,
the seats were assigned, and it's in the
oh,
bowl that is next to her. Now, people said this. I was like, okay, well, if I saw some chips, maybe I'd be like, yo, can you pass me the chips? And then I get it. But like, if the seats are assigned and they're telling you where to sit, which usually doesn't happen, and then the bowl is right next to the one player, it's like that's a little bit weird. And I think we all clocked that. And then also like I don't know, like the note also said as a reward for like your challenge performance, which I guess could apply to any of the four because they all were the final four of the challenge. But like it's basically sort of like because you won the challenge. But like if you're the winner of the challenge, your prize is immunity necklace. It's not another advantage on top of that, on top of the idol that someone already gave you. So I don't want to say it was, and that's not on this ain't Evil's fault, obviously. Get as many advantages as you can, girl. But I don't
It
know.
said as a reward for your challenge performance. That's what it said.
I think at the start it was like as a reward for like your performance in the challenge, like this is the whatever. This is an advantage. Obviously, like I said, the reward was the four people that made it the farthest. So technically, that could be like, oh,
for
like
anybody.
they all perform well, but like the one it's being put next to the winner of the challenge. And that's not a knock on Eva, right? Like if I'm out there in her shoes, I'm hoping that I get that, and I'm not like obviously I'm taking it. Like that's not my fault, but a little weird.
My theory is y'all know when it's time that we switch tribes, and 2 seasons ago they were on the tray and that intern did not mix them up. I feel like that intern got demoted to the sanctuary. And I feel like that intern was working the sanctuary, and that intern forgot to remove the name tags. Now, a little birdie was telling me something yesterday throughout the events that this birdie was in the new era, and they were talking about a season at an episode where someone got a reward at the sanctuary, and this birdie said to me that there were assigned seats at the sanctuary. We just didn't see them as viewers. And so I said, that's interesting. And said person at assigned seat did get an advantage.
So does this mean that if you go somewhere and see assigned seats, you need to be extra?
You need to do what I do at weddings. You go in first and see where the assigned seatings are, and you move them before you sit down. That's what it means.
Okay.
Or
Bryce, what if you were the one who they did assign it for, and then you move yourself out of an advantage?
He'd do that.
That is just my luck. Or is it for future players? Season 49 has not left yet.
Yes, they have.
Oh, okay. Well, season 51 hasn't.
Hey, you could be talking to 50.
I mean, hey, listen. If somebody you at the sanctuary and somebody won, maybe you need to pass the chips and salsa, please. Pass the guac, please. I don't know.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah. What do we think about
if everyone has their own bowl of chips? You just need to taste other chips.
Bro, I do that anyway.
What do we think about pivoting back to the challenge? Do we like it when they pick their own duos? Do we like this like multi-stage challenge, or do we prefer just a classic straightforward?
I like it in the sense, for one reason, like Joe, you can sit back and see what people do, but also I like it when it is a little more thought out in the sense that maybe the dominant alliance, it ensures that you pair up with somebody that is not in the alliance so that maybe you can execute someone going home a little more, it's more well thought out. So I do like when we can pick duos. But I like when you can pick duos, but I also maybe like it when it's more a random pairing, right? Where you have to like put your hand into the cookie jar and take a cookie out. Like I like it that way. But I
Do you
do
think
like
I think like Chrissy argued that it was unfair because all the strong people could just get together. Is that you think that's unfair, or do you think that's just part of the game?
You don't know the challenge you're walking into.
right. Well, I mean you can see it.
Well,
No,
not
they picked the teams beforehand, right?
yeah.
I have a take.
Oh,
Yeah.
hold on, Jack. Wait, Jack. Hold on. Whoa. Whoa.
Guys, I have a take. Question. The last part of the challenge, it was the 4 polls, right?
Yes.
What did Jeff say about this challenge? This is one of the most.
Oh, a classic new era challenge. Oh,
He said something to the effect of like, this could be the most famous or the most known challenge in Survivor. The poll, like holding on the most something. He said something saying that this is one of those challenges. This is the challenge that
I think he right. I think, you know what? Wait a minute before you finish your sentence, Wendell. I think Jeff was right, because the time that I remember this challenge, do you remember this challenge, Jack?
which season? I mean, it's a classic.
Let's take it. Let's go to season 40. Let's think about how we got the first merge boot. Okay, Jeff was right.
that's not where I'm going. Yes, okay. It was a rainy day. I slipped. I was eliminated. They voted me out. Fine, cool. What I'm trying to say is this. Jeff said that this is one of the most famous challenges, right? And
Yeah.
we only get 4 people competing in it. Like, I feel like this is one of the challenges where this is the challenge. Put
True.
everyone on that poll and make it happen, because I don't want to end a challenge with this. I want to see everyone compete at this. That's all. That's
Agreed.
my on
I
that.
agree with that.
I do like stages and stuff like that, but just don't end with that. Give them a puzzle or something. I don't know. Give them something different.
Yeah.
You won't want to end with that. You will
do
want
an
to
official update. Wendell's take season 48. We're at 1. We're on the board.
the wind didn't wake up. Okay.
Yes. And you know why? It's because I went to school yesterday. I was at the Ron Clark Academy, and now I am more alert.
Question: I saw this. Did they divide you guys into like teams at the Ron Clark Academy, like houses?
Yeah, they have houses within the
How
school.
did that? Were you guys doing like challenges together? How'd that work?
Tell them, Brice. Oh wait, you didn't.
I love a
tour.
Harry Potter house moment, and I saw like some of the different teams.
Essentially, they have these 4 houses that are divided, and Ron stood up and he explained the different types of houses to us.
Explain it to us, Wendell.
Why don't you? Because wait a minute, you didn't go on the tour.
Oh wait, I have a job. I had to work.
Is the school
Jack, wait,
divided
time
by-
out. So wait, time out. Yes, I went to Atlanta, but I had to work. Jack, when we get done recording this podcast in LA, it will be around the time that you have to do what? Your end of day
meeting
for
my job.
Wendell, when is your end of day meeting for your job?
I'm an entrepreneur, Brice. I have some drawings. I have some sketches I need to make.
Unemployed. Oh, okay.
Wendell's got a house due by Friday.
Okay, Jack. So yeah, I wasn't able to attend because I had to get my
yeah. Wait, so do they divide them up? Do they actually divide the students in the houses too?
I want to say Wendeezy.
And do you know if they were like doing challenges like with the groups, or did it not get that into it? Like,
I think they did. Wendell brought his end of day meeting.
As I was saying,
ooh,
we built this
man,
thing.
you're an artist, Wendell.
I am sketching out a new pergola. I'm going to cover the entire outdoor section of the hotel. Thank you very much. So that is the next project I'm working on, building a 40 feet by 10-foot pergola to cover the outdoor space. Brice.
And Brice, Wendell does a lot of his sketching while we podcast.
It is currently my 9 to 5 right now.
Oh, yeah.
I was
so
rudely interrupted.
Did you guys do like challenges with these teams at Ron Clark, Wendell, or was it just for like the tour?
So we didn't do challenges, but we were able to learn the different houses. Like one house is a house of people that are like your traditional like dreamers, and they're good at a lot of things, but they're like the dreamer types. Then another house is like the people that are like they're go-getters. They're very confident, almost too confident, like kind of cocky, could have a little attitude. That was another house. Then there's another house that's like they have big hearts, and more so than like the leaders or the dreamers or the confident people, they like cheering people on more so. So
and
like
they actually divide the students into these groups, like
so the students are I believe the students are randomly put in these groups.
Oh wow.
But we picked our groups.
Like the one you associate with the most.
So I think I associate most with the dreamers, but because they were giving out too many blue scarves,
too many dreamers.
too many, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and go with the sharks. So that's why I'm the house of altruismo. And yes, I was just trying to see where Brice's was.
Yeah, not to get too much in the week. I just think that's pretty fun. So
it's awesome. It gives the students and their families, because like now their families are part of it, and they sell lots of merch. They have a merch store in there, and like the upperclassmen see the younger classmen that are in this house, and they're like, "Yo, you're my little bro." They take them in, they take care of them. Their parents are part of this. It's like, nah, my son doesn't just go to this school. He's part of the house of altruismo in the school. They wear the same colors. It's really cool. It gives you double buy-in.
Yeah,
that's dope.
Yeah.
What random segue. I do want to talk about. I want to talk about Mary. I want to talk about Mitch, and I want to talk about David. In no particular order, but I do want to talk about David because I have been seeing like, the slack that David has been getting this episode for essentially like, the strong alliance and wanting the strong alliance.
Yeah, I think Tribal especially was the kind of the key moment for that.
I don't know. I think it's so nuanced though, right? Because a different, like if this were season 28, 34, like I would be looking at David side-eyed. Like I'd be like, what the hell is this man talking about? But I think the nuance in this is that he's not lying, right? Like he's right. It's like, again, the pendulum, right? But it's so interesting because I never thought that I would be on this side of the realm where I am like, I understand what he's saying, and it's an astute take on the game. It's something that, but I don't know. It's so interesting. Jump in, Wendeezy.
I think you're right, Brice, because you put this anywhere in the 30s, it's a bunch of dudes that won all the seasons, Yeah. And so it's like, yo, what are you talking about, my man? Historically. But then if you look at the 40s, the pendulum has swung precisely. And now it, like you said, it swings back, and we might be watching that or we might be watching the start of it. And in his case, that's what he's fighting for. He's fighting for someone like himself. He's in self-preservation.
Which is just, it's crazy when you out of context and you hear it, you're just like, bro, have you not watched season 1 through season 40?
Well, he really has it. It's like, it's like he has it.
So the way he's he might not have said all the right words, but essentially, if you've seen this recent surge of winners and none of them look like you, you're like, all right, you know what? Just kind of like the cookout. They're like, we had no black winners in Big Brother. So the only way we can ensure a black winner is to make sure the 6 of us are the last 6 remaining. In his case, he's like, yo, I need a big, strong winner. So the 5 of us, one of us is going to get to the end together. Let's pick off the threats. The Camilla, who she's smart and she's cunning, she is a threat to us. I've seen people like her win within the preceding few seasons.
Yeah.
I think
Totally.
that's an argument.
Totally. I totally agree. Like, people jumping at him for now, the way he like talked to Chrissy and a little bit the way he managed Kyle, not great. But the idea of it, like, you look at the last 6 or 7 seasons, that has sort of been the case because of this pendulum. And also the thing is, like, if you're out on Survivor, you should be selfish. You should want someone like you to win the season because you're out there and it's the season that you're on. So watching Survivor, you could be like, well, we need more diverse winners. We need more, women winners. But if I'm out there and I'm David, I'm like, well, I need me to be the winner. Like, I need that. Right. I need it to fit me. And you made a great reference, Wendell, because it is like that. Like, the only way you can guarantee it is to stick together. And it might not be the most fun to watch. It might not be really like that fair for other people because you're not really open to playing the game with other people. But if you're out there in David's shoes, that's kind of what you feel like you have to do to win. So, like, you can't really blame him. And I don't think it's like misogynistic of him to be like, well, I want a big, strong guy to win, because he is the big, strong guy. Like, of course he wants to win. And it wasn't all the most tactful. And I think he kind of hurt his chances with the jury a lot, ironically, because now he's probably not going to win. But his viewpoint, I think, was very reasonable.
Right. And again, I also think, because I had to like reflect on this, because y'all know me, I love a David. And I've had the opportunity of meeting David several times. And I think, and I don't want to be too messy, but how do I want to go about this? I've met a lot of Survivor alum, and no, I'm just saying that, like, I don't think they all have been as welcoming to a Brice Izyah. Let me just say that, right? So I just want to start that off. And again, I lead with nothing but love. I will say, David has received my love. David has picked me up. Like, so I just say to say that I think what is interesting, and again, why I love the game of Survivor, why I love Survivor News, is we're having this conversation, and it's a nuanced conversation, and it's interesting. And I'm sure some people will be scared of this, but I also think that given the climate of our country, right, taking what David said, right, in the climate of our country is crazy. Like, it's just like, what the hell? However, let's put it in the game of Survivor, and let's be clear. David is out there to win $1 million. And so in that context, I absolutely understand what he's saying. And what he really is saying is, like, the people that have not been heard or seen, and a kudos to the diversity initiative in Survivor, is now that the people that have not been heard or seen in a long time, now they are the mother effer big dogs. Now they are the big steppers. And now we got men like David trying to, like, get a coalition, a collab of people like, hey, what about us? So I think that if you look at it in that context, it really does speak to how far we have come. Because now, like, it's really interesting.
I'll say, Brice, I don't think it's those people are now the big steppers. I'll say it's just a way more diverse collection of winners. And
it's
like,
anybody's game. It can be really anybody's game.
and also, I think it's important that you brought up how nuanced this particular standpoint in this season, in this climate of Survivor, and also in the climate of the country, because
when you hear a big white man talking about strong people, like you automatically go to like, what the hell is she like? But like you have to,
but also this is nuanced because like we just for the last 10 minutes almost kind of like took his side or kind of understood where he's coming from. And but in the country, there's so much nuance to so many arguments, and people take sound bites or a little thing or this small thing, and they're like, man, I don't like this person because of this, or I don't like that person because of that. When in actuality, if you give yourself the time to like understand and break down a lot of aspects of things and understand what's really going on, this particular person might not be a bad person. So I think like it's cool that we're breaking this down here, because it's like, yo, David's approach might have been a little faulty, you know?
For sure.
But what he's saying, I think a sensible person can agree. Hey, you would like to win this game of Survivor, and the best way that you think you can ensure it is by surrounding yourself with a bunch of big, strong people.
Yeah, exactly. Like you look at, if I'm on 48 and I look at 41 through 47, I mean, the two male winners that there's been have been Jam Jam and Gabler. And so if I'm a Joe, a David, a Kyle, a Shaheen, it's a reasonable conclusion to be like, bigger guys like us haven't been winning. Maybe you don't know exactly why that is, but it's like, well, what's going to make our odds better? We stick together and all get to the end. Like that is a very reasonable basis for David's argument. You know, you got to be a little more mindful when you're spitting that out, I think. And now I'm not always the best at it either, but you know, the argument's right. But I mean, the thing is, people are always going to feel one type of way or another. But I feel like,
was that a Chrissy moment? Is that something that you actually should be announcing to your potential jury, though, right? Like, I think that, in my opinion, is the bigger red flag on the play. Is like you're Chrissy right now.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I think in society, I don't think it's ever good to be so staunchly grouped up with similar people, you know, whatever it's good to diversify, get to intermingle.
So
well, yeah, but in Survivor, like it makes sense. Like it goes back to 41, where you know Shan and Deshaun and Danny or the Cookout and Big Brother. Like it could be any group of people where, oh, if we've been underrepresented as the winners of this, it makes sense to stick together. Now, what David did wrong, and you know what some other people have done wrong, is even if your cause is just, if you tell that you know whoever's not in that group that I never want to work with you, or I would not vote, I don't want you to win, then I'm never going to vote for you. Like if someone just blatantly told me they never wanted to work with someone like me, or they didn't want someone like me to win, then it might be very logical from their standpoint, but don't tell me that, because now I'm like, you're just writing me off.
Yeah, don't announce it. Don't announce it. Like make this group of yours this group for some other reason. Like a little more smooth with it. Like we're not running around announcing that we're these big, strong. Yeah, it's already very visible. But
yeah. And outside of them being like big and strong, it's just like him being like, well, this is my 5 because of this. You're just announcing what your alliance is. Like just now, everyone else is gonna know who you're with, and you're not really gonna. They're gonna be like, well, David doesn't want to work with me, so now David's locked in with these people, whereas Shaheen's working on other options. Kyle's got some other options. That's why it's going to be a lot more fruitful for them down the line, I think. Because what's David's path to the end now, right? He's very, very, very.
He got to meet his way to the end. He got to meet his way on in. But it's interesting because him saying that makes my next question to y'all, Mitch, right? Like, where do y'all see Mitch don't miss at in where we're at? Because it's very clear, in my opinion, right? Like in David's eyes, Mitch is clearly a threat because I don't really feel like David sees Mitch as a meat shield. But in my opinion, from a viewer standpoint, from watching a Mitch don't miss, it's like, David, you might want to reconsider who, like, again, and I also feel like maybe it's David's definition of the meat shield, right? Because in my opinion, Mitch is a meat shield. Like, Mitch don't miss. Like, Mitch actually is the meat smart shield. Like, Mitch fits in all of the things. And so it's just interesting because David saying what he's saying really makes me worry for a Mitch, because I feel like David looks at Mitch as a good puzzle guy and a good, like, and so where do y'all, after tonight's episode, like, where do you see Mitch don't miss fit in this pot?
He's not in that group, and he tried to get something going this episode with, what are they, Siva, his tribe, tried to pull them back together. Mitch Curry. Mitch is a challenge beast. We've seen him get the job done, and he seems iced out of this alliance.
And it's almost like the fact that he tried to get the Siva together and it made sense, and like they didn't. When I was watching the episode, I was nervous for Mitch when he brought that up, because I was like, oh, it was almost like Michaela back. Remember when, like, she was doing the numbers on her tribe and they was like, oh my God, Michaela's so smart. I was in my mind screaming at Mitch, like, it's not your name. Don't worry about it. Because for him to, the way he broke down those numbers and was like, hey, if we vote this way, I was like, oh my God, Mitch is like, he's on track to potentially go to the end. And so I'm a little nervous for my baby boy, Mitch.
He doesn't have a lot of footing right now, but I like where his head's at. Like, someone's going to have to move and shake. So it's worth Mitch starting to do that. And I think things might turn on David pretty soon, and I think Mitch is going to be a key piece to pick up. You know, Mitch might be the kind of guy you gotta pick up first, and then once he's kind of got a little bit more footing, then he can move and shake a little bit. So I hope he's all right.
Wendell is talking this episode.
Well, you fired me earlier, so I'm getting the most out of my last day.
Pop off, sis.
I was thinking the same for Mitch. Like, I'm scared because he could be one of these people that the votes just fall on because he's not in one of these, one of these alliances, big or small. But I forget.
It's gonna have to turn around soon. So maybe.
So there are eyes on Camilla right now. There are eyes on David. There's some dissension in this big group. So he could be a key piece, and that could really propel him.
Yeah.
Where's Mother Mary at? Because again, I feel like Mother Mary has lodged herself right dab smack in the middle. And also somebody wanted me to tell Jack how they felt about Mary being the top strongest out of this whole thing. Like, what does Jack have to say about Mary in this Siva episode, after we see how strong Mother Mary was from the beginning, where you didn't see Mary's strength, and now that we on episode 8, Mary looking like a strong dog, Jack.
Like, in what sense?
I mean, I just explained it to you, Jack.
Well, I gave her credit, like the challenges she's picked up in the challenges. Obviously,
picked up. She been picked up, Jack.
I said that, like the way she.
Well, I mean,
through the.
Do you apologize?
I think I apologize. Yeah.
Oh, well, we
I admitted. Our recent episode, I admitted I was wrong about Mary. She's a lot more athletic than I gave her credit for. I've said that
a lot more.
Yeah, that's a good thing. Yeah, she's a lot more athletic than I gave her credit for. That's not a diss.
Well, if somebody isn't athletic and you say they're a lot more athletic than I gave them credit for, that still seems like mid athleticism.
But Mary is athletic. So what do you mean? What do you mean if someone isn't athletic, Brice?
Oh.
Ooh.
Someone could be athletic and then like
Jackery.
Like Mitch is a lot more athletic than I would have initially given him credit for.
Jackery.
Yeah, not too much on Mary.
Jack.
Brice. All right.
Jack, you my brother. You got the britches a little. You ate right there, Jack.
Yeah, there we go. Don't come for me.
Uh-huh.
But no, yeah, like no. Well, so and then talking. I mean, Mary did a great job of being the last green around. She's now gotten some footing with David and with some of the others. I'm a little bit nervous. We haven't been seeing as much of Mary lately. We saw a little bit more this episode with her pushing to get Camilla, but I'm a little worried if David's if her number one is David, and David's like, well, I want all the big, strong guys at the end together. Mary's athletic, but she's not a big, strong guy, So, I'm not even comparing that athletically, just physically, not a big. So she's not the type that David wants in this alliance necessarily. It's not what this alliance was built off of. So I hope Mary can keep her head a little bit low. I feel like it went up a little too much this episode, pushing for Camilla. I think Mary needs to get in with this alliance firmly, but then go to a Camilla and go to a Mitch and go to a Shaheen and be like, we actually need to flip this game on Joe. Because I think Mary's, with all the shit she went through early in the game, she's happy to like be a part of something, I feel like. But this something that she's a part of is not the thing that she should be going to the end of the game with, I don't think.
And with all that she's been through, she got some serious chops. She has been through it. Yeah.
But I think the better squad for her to work with is not going to be this David group. But I'm thinking David could go soon. It could free Mary up, and then maybe she picks up the pieces and jumps in with a Kyle, a Camilla, and a Mitch, and a Star maybe. And I'm still hopeful for Mary, but right now I'm a little more nervous.
And then my last final take.
Cool. I don't want to. Your last. Also, I don't know if it's about the journey.
Talk about it.
Yeah, because if you have a take to wrap us up, I don't want to skip over the journey.
Oh no, I was just saying like my last. Since Wendell has clocked in this episode, I was gonna say my last take, and then however. But come on, Jack.
Well, no, if it's related, go ahead, and then we can wrap up with the journey.
Well, no, let's go with the journey because then
I have a question too. So after you guys do it, I'll ask a question.
Well, yeah, let's talk about this journey.
Well, I'm sorry, Jack. I was going to say yes, Wendell. To answer your question, we are recording, and yes, we are doing a podcast right now.
That was my second question.
Go ahead, Jack.
But yeah, the journey. I mean, I feel like we saw this last season where a group goes and someone's going to lose their vote. It's not great. But if it's it's only one person, they got to relax with the losing the vote. I think we've been over that. But I think this journey challenge itself, I thought it was interesting. It was a strategic game. It had some social weight to it where, okay, you're making a choice to screw, you're screwing one person over, you're screwing another person over. So you're putting your cards on the table. So I liked it more than just rolling the dice. But what did you guys think about it?
I liked it a lot. I thought it, in my opinion, I liked it. I didn't love it for Camilla in the sense that I think that it revealed that Camilla is not the type, if you have a Band-Aid on your arm, Camilla isn't going to rub Vaseline on it. Camilla isn't going to put hot water on it and just like peel it off. Camilla she's ripping it off. And I think that, in my opinion, that reveals a lot. Like Camilla she makes decisions with her mind and not emotions. And that's a dangerous player. And I love it. And I love Camilla. But I also felt like when she was just like, I need this game to end. Sorry, Star. Like, you out.
Yeah.
Like, again, I wasn't mad at it, but I was just like,
she was put in a tough.
Go ahead, Jack. Yeah.
She wasn't in a tough spot. It's one of those games. Like I said, you're screwing one person or the other. And for her, she's got a blossoming relationship with Shaheen. She's cool with Mitch. So it makes sense that she's got to pile on Star, but there's not really an easy way to go about it when she's put in the spot 2 or 3 times to just be like, all right, Star. But I do think, Star, for better or worse, very easygoing. So if there's anyone to put the hammer down on, it doesn't seem like Star got back to camp and was like, Camilla's done. Like, granted, we don't get to see as much Star as I would like, so maybe Star was thinking that. But I'm sorry. What were you saying? I didn't mean to interrupt.
I was gonna say also kudos to Star for, and you know I love Joe, but not pulling a Joe this episode when she could have, right? Like knowing your position at where you're at and knowing that actually, you know what? Nobody's targeting me. Okay, Camilla, I clocked that T. You got me, but I'll get back to camp and see what else is going on, right? Because if that were me, I would have potentially got back to camp and been like, F Chrissy, F David, like Camilla gotta go. But I like the fact that she kind of was like, you ate, you know, kudos to you, queen, and kind of play her position. Like, ain't nobody really clocking me, so I'm chilling. I was like, okay, that's like that. Again, that's a social intelligence that some people just do not have. And I think that reveals a lot. Like, I feel like sometimes the edit doesn't do Star justice, but if you know, real people see real people, and the way that Star moves is very real.
Yeah, she's very down to earth, very chill. To so much so that I'm like, Star, at some point, I'm gonna need you to kick into gear if you want to win this game, because I think she's in a great spot right now. Not a lot of eyes on her, partly because she's just kind of easygoing, not moving and shaking too much. But at some point, I'm hoping we see her start to rock the boat a little bit, because that's just what's going to have to happen for her to, have a good shot to win. Wendell, what was the other?
What was your?
I thought the game was really awesome, especially the option to pick one or two balls. I think that's a great touch. But then I also wanted to say,
always go for two, Wendell. Always go for two.
Whoa. Self pause. Okay, Brice.
Oh boy.
Okay, Brice.
That's crazy.
Wow.
What are you making of Luigi's? That was Brice at Luigi's Pizza, kneading the dough, trying out a pepperoni or a sausage.
Okay, guys. Okay.
Unrelated. Did you guys see on RHAP with Sandra? Rob was like, we were at Luigi's Pizza, and Sandra was like, is that where they call Luigi Mangione? She was like dead serious.
Oh, the queen.
The queen.
I wanted to ask you guys with this Eva advantage. Do we see her revealing it to anyone in the future?
Joe.
Yeah.
I'm holding out hope that she doesn't tell Joe.
She won't tell Joe,
but I think she will.
Probably. But hopefully they can keep it between
Joe,
themselves. Hopefully they can keep it between themselves, because they ought to. But
yeah, but I mean, might this be the moment where Joe's like, all right, it might be time.
Or
I don't know.
Wait,
I don't think he's scared.
What was the advantage? So I was sitting next to Sam.
I don't think we saw what happened yet. She's gonna go have to retrieve it at nighttime, and like kind of like the Jeremy Collins second chance, and go find the torch and find it.
And think about this: whatever it is, say she does keep it to herself. Is this something that's a resume builder if she is at the end to distinguish herself, to be like, I didn't just rely on, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, again, here's an opportunity.
100%.
Here's an opportunity.
To me, the Eva path to the end is going to be very much a Marianne, where she seems like she's been attached to these big dogs, but she starts to go off on her own a little bit, unbeknownst to everybody else. Maybe she cuts a Joe. Maybe she uses an advantage that nobody else knew about. And then gets to the end and was like, you guys underrated me, but really I was doing this. And everyone's like, oh, damn, Eva, I didn't see that out of you. Like, now I'm really impressed. But if Eva just brings everything to Joe, then then that's where's the game at? Obviously, right. I mean, she's in the loop on a lot of the votes, but doesn't seem to be driving it as much.
And my final take, and it didn't hit me until this episode when it was David versus Kyle, but the way Kyle handle himself this episode, going up against David, switching Joe, got Camilla,
Ooh.
got the people on the votes. And again, I've been critical of I love Kyle, but I've been critical of Kyle, and I like Jack is loud and wrong sometimes. I was like, it's Camilla. Camilla is running this. I don't think at the time that I thought it was an equal partnership, but it has clearly been very fruitful for Kyle and Camilla to work together. And I don't want to go on record of saying, but I definitely, after the way I mean, Kyle. Kyle.
Oh,
Hey,
why are they
Kyle.
so discolored? Like those, I thought those were new britches.
Listen, they've been soiled a lot. The way Kyle was pushing back on a David, it did something to the britches, but it also I looked at Kyle a little different this episode. I really said, wow. And I looked at, again, the way he maneuvered, the way he didn't just rely on Camilla, the way that he Camilla'd Camilla. And remember, I was like, oh no, Camilla did that all herself. And Kyle just played along. Kyle said, let's tag team. Let me tag in, sis. Hey. They're coming after you right now. I don't need you to do nothing, but I'm just letting you know they cut. Like I said, Kyle.
Yeah.
Is this what I think it is, Brice?
I think I might have to give the draws. Wait, why do they look so big? Did you get a bigger size window? Why do they look enormous?
They're your britchers.
Because the britchie is a big award to win, so it's only right that it's a double XL britchie.
I think I might have to give the britchies to Kyle, and I think I might have to take my hat off to Kyle and say, like, I see you. I see you, Kyle. Yeah.
Let's put your hat back on. I agree. It was great watching him this episode. This was you kept on looking over at me, Brice, and saying, yo, this is like a defining moment for these two, for this alliance. What I'm scared of, because I'm rooting for everybody Guyanese out there, first of all. But what I'm scared of is, are we getting Kyle and Camilla and this dynamic, and we're going to watch them go home? Like, I'm scared that we're getting, like how we watched Genevieve. You know, like Genevieve was strong and then we watched her go. Like, there are players that's like, man, are we getting
so different though? Like a Genevieve and a Kyle is so different.
I know they're different. I'm just saying there are players that like we get amped for and built up for, or we're watching and we're like, all right, this is the one. And
yeah, I don't know. That's why I don't want to call it, but I'm just saying.
No, I'm a Kyle fan, as we know. I'd be excited if he got the britchie. I don't personally know if this, like, he would be to me, is the player of the episode, but I don't think it was
Kyle got what?
The britchie. But me personally, I know the britchie's not mine to give or to keep, but he was a little messy in his handling of David. I think it's going to put him in some hot water. I actually have a lot of confidence that Kyle's going to be able to maneuver out of it, just because I think he's got a little bit more social capital than David. So I still feel strongly about Kyle going far, but I don't know if he handled. To me, Britchie's like, you had a flawless episode, and there was a couple things with Kyle this episode that I think could have been a little bit smoother. But ultimately, he got things to go the way he wanted. He kept Camilla in. He pulled Joe back in. So it was a good episode. I wouldn't be mad at him getting the britchie.
How hard? Because it seemed like their argument, Brice, fix your face. Seemed like the argument was, all right, Chrissy today, Camilla tomorrow. How hard will it be to get it off of Camilla for tomorrow?
Exactly.
Are the teasers just like misleads for us to think that something's really shaking? Is this train going, and is this train unstoppable right now in the direction of Camilla.
I don't know if I should share this, but while we were at Ron Clark, Camilla and Kyle were there, and something interesting that Camilla said that took me off, that I thought was interesting, was that she said she was surprised.
You lagged out. Probably for the best.
Yeah, that's because the Survivor guys are saying
Don't
we
say
didn't see
that.
anybody.
My theory is that I think things are going to come to a head next episode.
Oh.
And as Brice said, say it,
Jack.
Sometimes you gotta
What do you
suck
have
your
to
head
do?
off. Hey, that's why Brice is in Slytherin, all green. No, I think my theory. I think the target's to be squarely on Camilla. The Strong Alliance is going to want to go for her. I am hoping, and I see a world that maybe Kyle, Camilla, Mitch, Shaheen, and Star might be able to work together. Although now that I say it out loud, I'm a little like, would Shaheen and Star flip on Joe? I mean, Shaheen's shown that he's willing to make moves. I don't know. Star seems like she's been pretty loyal to Joe and Eva, so maybe not, because that Joe, Eva, David, Mary, and then a Star seems like a pretty tight group. But we will see. We will see. I'm a little bit more nervous. So I'm like, Kyle and Camilla have to rally the troops.
Yeah, I definitely think that next week's episode, like I said about this week's episode, but I think next week's episode is really going to be the start of the second half of the season where we start cooking.
It's good. We're gonna have to cook at some point, even if it gets to the strong five at some point. Like 5 people don't sit at the end of the game, so at some point this thing is gonna start bubbling over, and I'd like it to be next episode. If not, we're gonna wait a couple more, and But
yeah. The final 9. This is gonna decide the direction that the rest of the season's going.
For sure. And it definitely is bubbling over, Wendeezy, because it is bubbling over to the baby boys heading to Austin next week. All 3 of us will be there. And so I'd love to see the Wind Den, the Jack Shack, and the Posse turn on out. Tickets are available. Click the link in our Instagram bio, or you can head over to briceandwen.com, and we will see you in Austin. This definitely was a great episode, Jack. Wendeezy clocked in. So I'd like to see in the comments this week, y'all, let's do a little clock emoji for Wendeezy. If you got this far in the episode, let's get a clock emoji for Wendeezy, because listen, we're 8 episodes in, and Wendeezy has decided to clock in.
Let's go.
Well, we'll see you all next week. This has been your Survivor News covering Survivor Season 48, Episode 8. We're out of here.
Ooh, it's the Purple Pants Podcast. You better listen in public, might make your stomach hurt. Ooh, it's the Purple Pants Podcast. You're trying to unwind, you better get that box wine. It's the Purple Pants Podcast. You're trying to get your snack, you better hurry right back though. It's the Purple Pants. It's the Purple Pants.